You're sitting across from her at dinner. She's smiling. She's answering. She's there. But something feels slightly out of reach. Not cold, not distant, just untouchable, in a way you can feel in your chest. You ask how her day was, and she gives you the clean version, the safe version, the version that tells you what happened, but not what mattered. And you can feel yourself thinking, why does she open up with everyone else, but hold back with me? Why do I feel close to her 1 minute and miles away the next? Is it the age gap? Am I trying too hard? Am I already losing something I never fully had? Here's the truth most men never hear. Younger women do not become deeply attached because you impress them more. They become deeply attached when they feel more safe, more seen, and more emotionally met with you than they do anywhere else. You're not failing. This is not about being too old, too serious, or not exciting enough. And it's definitely not a sign that something is wrong with her. By the end of this video, you're going to understand the one kind of question that creates real emotional pull, why it works so powerfully in age gap dynamics, and how to ask it in a way that builds connection instead of pressure. Let's get into it. Most couples believe attraction is built by chemistry, confidence, and saying the perfect thing. But the real truth is that deep attachment is built when someone's nervous system feels safe enough to be fully real around you. That's the part most people miss, especially in age gap relationships. Because when an older man likes a younger woman, he often thinks his job is to lead, impress, or prove stability. And on the surface, that sounds right. But beneath the surface, her mind is reading something much deeper. Can I relax here? Can I be young, messy, uncertain, playful, emotional, and still be respected? Or do I have to perform maturity just to be loved by him? That question matters more than your charm, more than your money, more than your experience. Because your partner's nervous system is reading you before her mind can catch up. If she feels evaluated, she withdraws. If she feels studied, she performs. If she feels gently understood, she opens. And that is where the real magnetism lives. Not in making her obsessed, in making her feel safe enough to stop hiding. That's what sets up everything that follows. Here's the part no one talks about. Most couples ask for information. Very few ask for experience. And that difference changes everything. Most people in relationships say things like, "How was your day?" Or, "What did you do?" It sounds caring. It sounds normal. But those questions often invite a surface answer because they focus on events, not emotion. The deeper truth is that connection happens when she feels you are interested in how life lands inside her, not just what happened around her. That's especially powerful in age gap dynamics because younger women often expect older men to advise, correct, or interpret them. When you don't do that, her brain quietly registers, wait, he actually wants to know me, not manage me. So instead of, "How was your day?" try, "What part of today stayed with you?" Or, "What felt heavy today? What felt good?" The disconnecting version sounds like, "So did you finish that thing or not?" The connecting version sounds like, "What was the hardest part of that for you?" One makes her feel monitored. The other makes her feel met. And when you do that, the walls between you start coming down without either of you having to force anything. Not fixing, not teaching, not guiding, but staying. Most couples fall into a pattern where one person shares and the other person responds with logic, especially older men who care deeply and want to help. But here's what nobody explains. Advice given too early often lands like emotional abandonment. Not because your point is wrong, because the timing is wrong. A nervous system that is activated does not want solutions first. It wants presence first. In age gap relationships, this dynamic gets stronger because she may already assume you'll take the expert position. So the question that builds emotional obsession in the healthiest sense is not, "Why didn't you just do this?" It's, "Do you want comfort, honesty, or help right now?" Bro, that one question is gold because it tells her, "I'm here with you, not above you." The disconnecting version is, "You're overthinking it, just call her back tomorrow." The connecting version is, "What's hurting most about this? And do you want me to help you solve it or just stay with you in it?" One response speeds past her. The other turns toward her. That's the shift that turns a relationship from a performance into a refuge. This is where it gets really interesting. Most couples fight about behavior. Very few get curious about meaning. And behavior without meaning will keep confusing you. Most people in relationships see distance and call it disinterest. They see moodiness and call it immaturity. They see silence and call it avoidance. But the real truth is that what looks careless is often protective. What looks dramatic is often unspoken fear. What looks inconsistent is often someone trying to stay connected without knowing how. Her nervous system is like a smoke detector. It cannot always tell the difference between actual rejection and the possibility of rejection. So it sounds the alarm fast. That's why one of the most powerful things you can ask is, when that happened, what did it mean to you? Or even, what story did your mind start telling? Honestly, that question goes beneath the surface fast. The disconnecting version is, you got upset over nothing. The connecting version is, I know it looked small to me, but I want to understand what it touched in you. Suddenly, her internal monologue shifts to, he's not dismissing me, he's trying to find me. And that's when your partner stops feeling like a puzzle to solve and starts feeling like a person you can truly hold. Most couples ask attachment questions backwards. They ask, what do I need to do so you won't leave? But the real question is, what helps you feel emotionally safe enough to be fully here? That's a huge difference. Because when you chase reassurance, you create pressure. When you create safety, reassurance grows on its own. In age gap relationships, this matters because the younger partner can quietly fear being consumed, judged, or subtly shaped into someone else's ideal. So if you want depth, ask, what helps you feel most relaxed with me? Or, what makes it easier for you to open up instead of shutting down? The disconnecting version sounds like, are you serious about me or not? The connecting version sounds like, I'm not asking you to prove anything. I just want to understand what helps you feel safe here. Not chasing, not testing, not trying to pin her down, but learning the language of her nervous system. That creates the kind of trust that makes closeness feel natural instead of negotiated. And this is the one most couples never figure out. People do not just fall in love with how you treat them. They fall in love with who they get to become around you. Most people in relationships focus on being chosen, but the deeper truth is that lasting attachment forms when someone feels expanded in your presence, not reduced by it. She wants to feel adored, yes, but she also wants to feel free, playful, intelligent, desired, safe, young without being dismissed, deep without being overread, real without being punished for it. Man, that combination is rare. So ask her, who do you feel like when you're with me? Or, what version of yourself comes out around me? The disconnecting version is, you should be more mature about this. The connecting version is, I never want you to feel like you have to shrink to be understood by me. That question can hit hard because it tells her, I care about your soul, not just your role in my life. And that's when connection stops feeling like chemistry alone and starts becoming emotional home. Here's what changes everything. One argument is never just one argument. It's usually a pattern wearing a fresh outfit. Most couples stay trapped because they treat every conflict like an isolated event. But beneath the surface, the same cycle keeps replaying. One person reaches, the other person retreats. One gets louder, the other gets smaller. One chases clarity, the other protects peace. This is not random. This is attachment history colliding in real time. So instead of asking, why are you doing this again? Ask, what keeps happening between us right before we lose each other? That's a mature question. That's an emotionally available question. The disconnecting version is, here we go again, you always do this. The connecting version is, I think we keep stepping into the same cycle, and I want to understand it with you instead of blaming you for it. Her mind hears, we are on the same side of this. And once that happens, repair becomes possible. That's how you stop drift before it hardens into scar tissue. This is the big one, the one that actually creates the deepest pull. The question is simple, but only if you mean it. What feels true for you right now? That's it. Most couples rush past truth because truth is slow. Truth is vulnerable. Truth cannot be controlled. But the real intimacy most people long for is built when someone has room to tell the truth without being punished, corrected, rushed, or talked out of it. This isn't a communication hack. This is what emotionally mature love looks like. It says, your honesty matters more to me than my comfort in this moment. The disconnecting version is, just tell me what I need to do so we can move on. The connecting version is, you don't have to say the right thing. I just want the real thing. What feels true for you right now? And when you can hold that answer without collapsing, defending, or turning it into a debate, something in her settles. Something in her says, I don't have to perform here. I can actually be known. And that is the feeling people describe as obsession, when what they really mean is emotional safety so rare it feels unforgettable. So no, this is not about learning a magic line.
It's not about saying one clever thing and making a younger woman chase you forever. Not manipulation, not strategy, not pressure, but becoming the kind of man whose questions feel like a safe place to land. That's different. That's real. When you internalize this, you stop trying to be impressive and start becoming emotionally present. You stop leading with answers and start leading with safety. And your partner feels that before you ever say a perfect word. These are not tips for getting someone attached. They're the beginning of becoming the kind of partner people can finally exhale around. And here's the mic drop truth. The deepest attraction doesn't begin when you say the right thing. It begins when your presence makes the truth feel safe.